end of a retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement.
It's a society based on freedom and choice and personal responsibility. There are no guarantees.
It's important that people deal with someone to make sure to provide that guaranteed lifetime income.
Guaranteed lifetime income.
And now to our story.
Welcome to Playchecks For Life with Richard Ehrlich. Richard is the president and founder of the Secure Wealth Planning Group. Over the next 30 minutes, Richard will teach you how to turn your paychecks into retirement playchecks. And now, here's Richard Ehrlich.
Good morning, South Florida. This is Richard Ehrlich, your host for Playchecks For Life. Welcome again to another show. This is the show that separates myths and misconceptions and brings you the reality and factual information you're going to need to know to have a secure and successful retirement. We also focus on low risk, low volatility, successful investment solutions. And as we talk about each week, we talk about the 5 essential areas you need to address to have a successful retirement plan. They are as follows. Number 1, advanced tax planning. 2, income planning. 3, investment planning, investments that do not lose half their value every 5 to 6 years. Number 4 is estate planning, and number 5 is legacy planning. Last week, we talked about the risks in retirement. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank all those folks that have been calling in. We've been getting a lot of really great feedback and getting some great questions, and we encourage you to continue asking more information, and if we could help you out anyway, that's why we're here. If you have any questions, you can call us at 561-362-2293 or visit our website at playchecksforlife.com. So thanks again. Okay, so last week we talked about the risks in retirement. And today we're going to address one of those risks. And the risks are really the following. You know, we have longevity risk, which we addressed last week. You have to make sure your money lasts as long as you do. And quite frankly, people are living longer. That's a good thing, but you got to make sure that you can hedge against that. We talked about order of returns risk, deflation risk, market risk, withdrawal rate risk, mortality risk, inflation risk, and finally, the topic of today is going to be long-term care risk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a major risk in retirement that if you can't put a line through this one and remove this risk from your retirement plan, there's a potential of having a major disruption in your goals and objectives to reach a sound and secure retirement. So in the first part of the show, we're going to talk about the actual risks of long-term care. In the second part of our show, we're going to come back and talk about what the impact that would have on a seemingly well-diversified portfolio. And finally, in the third part of the show, we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do to hedge against that risk. And finally, as we always do, we're going to finish with the question of the week. So let's talk about long-term care risk. Long-term care is another significant risk in retirement. I have a question for you folks. Ask yourself if you yourself know of anybody that needed long-term care assistance. What I mean by long-term care is needing help with any of the daily living activities. For example, bathing, eating, dressing. There's several risks that you have to think about. If you know of folks like that, you'll know that unless they were prepared, it was a major financial impact for them and their families. Unfortunately, for the folks that don't hedge against this risk and do something to plan for it, it's the children of those folks that are really getting hit with a double whammy, right? On one hand, these folks have to prepare for their own retirement. At the same time, they got to take care of either mom or dad. And we're going to talk about how you can avoid that risk. Once again, if you'd like to find out more information about any of these topics, please call us at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com. In terms of Playchecks for Life, we talked about ensuring that you have a solid and consistent both paychecks to cover your existing bills, but that's not why we spend 40 years working. We also want to have some fun, reach all of our goals and objectives, and focus on our dreams and desires of retirement, and hence that's why we have the Playcheck for Life. However, if we don't eliminate the long-term care risk, it could really put a major dent into the long-term plans of retirement. So I'd like to start out by saying that no retirement plan is complete without the consideration of long-term care. Let's take a look. Medical costs often increase significantly as you age. Right? Many people do not plan for this expense, and it wipes out their savings. Certainly something we do not want to have happen. So why long-term care insurance? Well, think of the odds of your home burning down during your lifetime. The odds of that happening are about 3 out of 100. That's 3%. But my guess is almost every homeowner has homeowner's insurance. The odds of totaling your car are 18 out of 100, or 18%. But almost every car owner has auto insurance. However, the odds that you will need long-term care assistance are about 72 out of 100. That's right, 72 out of 100, or 72%. And that's just the reality. And that's why I talked about in one of our previous shows about longevity risk. The longer we live, which is a good thing, right? But the longer we live, the more likelihood we are going to fall into this category. But keep in mind, less than 30% of all Americans over 45 have long-term care insurance. That's a major, major disconnect. So the idea here is that we have to make sure that if you fall into that category of 72%, what are you going to do about it? All right. Now, if somebody has a very, very sizable portfolio or a net worth of, let's say, $15, $20 million, you could self-insure. Funny thing is, you could also transfer that risk for a very small premium as well. The question is, why even consider long-term care insurance? You may have done a great job with your stocks, bonds, and annuities, right? And you could seemingly have a complete retirement portfolio. It could be diversified, it could meet your objectives, and it could even be positioned for the long term. But you're going to see when we come back in the second part of our show, when you actually factor in the cost of what this could be for you and your family and the effect it could have on your savings, you're going to see why this is so critical that you need to hedge against this. As we always do, we're going to try to make this as simple as possible to understand. If you'd like to learn more about any of these topics, give us a call at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com.
Playchecks for Life.
Are you serious? You're joking me. Are you pulling my leg?
What was that name again?
Playchecks for Life with Richard Early. More in a minute.
Retirement income plans are not just for the wealthy. As retirement nears, the traditional strategy has been to move growth-seeking products to more conservative, fixed income products. This may have worked fine back when retirement was only expected to last 5 to 10 years. These days, however, people are living longer. It's not unusual for some retiring at age 65 to live to age 90 or longer. You may need to plan for your nest egg to potentially last 25 to 30 years. One drawback to a longer life is the greater possibility of outliving your savings, creating all the more reason to develop a retirement income plan designed to last a longer lifetime. We can help you design a guaranteed retirement income strategy which incorporates insurance and annuity vehicles to create opportunities for long-term growth as well as guaranteed income throughout your retirement.
Exciting, isn't it? To start turning your paychecks into playchecks, call 561-362-2293. That's 561-362-2293. Or visit playchecksforlife.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Are you worried about outliving your income or managing your retirement investments? The change from accumulating wealth to spending it is a dramatic change in your life. People who enjoy a successful retirement find it's good to have an independent, trusted advisor at their side. Now, while it may seem overwhelming to address the complex issues involved in your retirement planning, we have a talent and experience to help you live the life you've planned.
Exciting, isn't it? To start turning your paychecks into playchecks, call 561-362-2293. That's 561-362-2293. Or visit playchecksforlife.com. We look forward to hearing from you. You're listening to Playchecks for Life with Richard Ehrlich.
Okay, welcome back. Playchecks for Life. This is your host, Richard Ehrlich. Today we're talking about one of the significant risks in retirement, and that is the risk of having a long-term care health issue during retirement. So in the beginning of the show, we talked about all the risks in retirement and what the significant impact of a long-term care event would have on you and your family. And ideally, if we can find a way to mitigate this risk or transfer it for a minimal cost, then I think it makes a lot of sense for us to address this. Now, we talked about the fact that we don't want to put our children in a position where they are going to be financially responsible for our lives in the event that one of these things happen. Once again, if any of this rings true to you or you would like to find out more information, please give us a call at 561-362-2293 or visit our website at playchecksforlife.com. So we talked about what the problem is and what the risk is, the long-term care. Well, let's assume that we've done a great job and you've built this great, solid portfolio. You have stocks, bonds, insurance, annuities, and things like that. You have life insurance, mutual funds, annuities. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself, unfortunately, part of that 72% of people that wind up needing long-term care. And you find yourself in that category. Let's think about it. If you are unplanned for long-term care, what could that do to you? Well, unfortunately, it could potentially wipe you out. Let's consider some of the numbers. And unfortunately, the numbers I'm going to give you here are probably on the low side. Number one, the private pay rate for a nursing facility is $76,416 per year. And that's as of a few years ago. The private pay rate for a nursing facility is about $77,000 per year and rising, certainly faster than the cost of inflation. The private pay rate for a Medicare certified home health agency is close to $27 an hour. Now, a lot of people will say, well, wait a minute, don't worry, Medicare is going to take care of me. Well, guess what? Medicare was never designed for long-term care coverage, and they're going to pay a maximum of 100 days of nursing home care. That's it. So since most of these health care issues last a lot longer than 100 days, what are you going to do? That's a significant burden. Now remember, you want to give yourself a lot of flexibility. If you don't see yourself in a nursing facility and you want to have the luxury of having private care in your home, you need to prepare for both. So when you're doing the analysis of what's available to you, you got to make sure you have that flexibility. So if you'd like to find out more information about this, or if this rings true to anybody, you know people that may fall into this category, give us a call at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com. So we see already that if we don't plan properly, it could be a major impact, but could potentially wipe out all of our years of hard-earned savings. And the fact that the cost of long-term care is just rising rapidly, there needs to be something that can be done. Now, when we come back in the last part of our show, we're going to talk about some of the traditional ways that people have tried to mitigate this risk. And we're going to look at some of the pros and cons of each one of them. And I think that one of the things you want to be considering is, as long as you've done something, you're going to be able to at least give yourself that peace of mind. All the things that we talk about on our show, all the things that we teach our clients and the folks that we work with, we teach them how to get that paycheck for life. How do you get that peace of mind, that sound and secure retirement? And as you take in the totality of all the things that could happen in retirement, whether it's be in the investment side, the insurance side, the tax side, all the things we're going to talk about, as you take into totality, as you address each and every one of them, and they're not difficult, you just have to actually spend the time to do it, you will then put yourself in a wonderful position to say, you know what, nobody knows what's going to happen in life, but it's great to know, and it's a terrific feeling that, guess what, under all circumstances, our plan's going to work, not just under the best case scenario, right? We talked about that as well. We want to know our plan works under all scenarios, not just the best case scenario. And I'll tell you, if you have any questions on this or you'd like to find out more information, please call us at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you think about why it is people don't want to address these things, it's because, number one, they're confused. There's a lot of confusion out there in terms of how these products work or how to mitigate them. And number two is they are misinformed. And remember, the goal of what we do at our firm and on this show is to help people navigate all the information out there and get factual information. See, people hire us to be their CFO. You are the CEO. Our goal is to provide you with the correct, factual, unbiased information, and then you make the decision. This is your plan, not ours. So when we come back, we're going to talk about what you can do, what are some of the potential strategies, or what's some of the things that people have tried to do to mitigate that risk, and what are some of the potential options you can do to remove that risk in retirement. And remember, when people look at any kind of insurance, specifically long-term care insurance, we like to call it sleep insurance. Anything that allows you to know that in the worst case scenario you're going to be taken care of, that lets you sleep at night. All right, so when we come back, we'll talk about what we can do there.
You're listening to Playchecks for Life with Richard Ehrlich. Playchecks for Life. More in a minute.
We specialize in retirement income planning for conservative individuals and couples who have successfully accumulated and want to protect a retirement nest egg. They are focused on creating a dependable, secure retirement income they can't outlive. If you are within 5 to 10 years of retirement, recently retired, or have been retired for some time, are you tired of volatile market fluctuations? Skeptical of conventional Wall Street wisdom? Looking to create and protect a dependable retirement income? We can help because we focus on creating steady streams of retirement income. Our expertise lies in more conservative investment choices. Speculative investments have no place in a retirement portfolio designed to create income and financial security.
Exciting, isn't it? To start turning your paychecks into playchecks, call 561-362-2293. That's 561-362-2293. Or visit playchecksforlife.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Like millions of Americans, you probably have questions and concerns about how to generate predictable and reliable retirement income. Most people have life insurance and a variety of annuities and other financial products. However, with Playchecks for Life, you'll have a dependable monthly paycheck you can rely on for your entire retirement. That's right. Let us show you how a steady income for your retirement is possible. Call the Playchecks for Life hotline right now, 561-362-2293. That's 561-362-2293. Or visit www.playchecksforlife.com. Live your retirement the way you've always dreamed it should be with Playchecks for Life.
You're listening to Playchecks for Life with Richard Ehrlich.
Okay, welcome back. This is Richard Ehrlich, your host for Playchecks for Life. And just as a recap, we talked about at the beginning of the show all the different risks in retirement and how we mitigate them. And today's show, we're talking about how to actually hedge or eliminate against the possibility of a long-term care health issue. Now, remember, if you don't factor this in, you could do a lot of really smart planning, but it could all come unraveled and potentially wipe out everything you've done because, as we mentioned, the cost of long-term care is very cost prohibitive and it's rising rapidly. By the way, if you'd like to find out more information about this or any of the risks we talk about in retirement you need to hedge against, please call us at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com. Okay, some people say, you know what? I'm going to just give away all of my assets. I know if I put myself in a position where I don't own anything, then Medicaid will take care of me. Well, I will tell you a few things. Number one, if you want to do that, think about what it is. And if you're going to give away all of your assets, do you really want to do that? Do you want to put yourself at the mercy of somebody else that if you get into a falling out with them, you have nothing? That could definitely be a problem. Number two is the healthcare agencies and the nursing homes, they got wise to this, right? What they did was they said, look, now they have what they call a 5-year look-back period. And if they see that you've given that money back, if they've given your assets away in the last 5 years, they go back and they say, look, you have to spend down at the equivalent of what you've given away, and only then will Medicaid take care of you. Number two is, have you ever visited a Medicaid facility? I don't think that's where you want to spend the last years of your life. So what are the options? Number one is buying long-term care insurance. And there are some pluses and minuses with that as well. One of the things we hear about often is, wow, it's very expensive. Sometimes it's not easy to qualify for. But I think one of the biggest issues with that is that, unfortunately, because of how many people actually put in claims, the insurance companies haven't figured it out themselves. And therefore, it's very hard to get guaranteed rates for a long period of time. A number of years ago, a major insurance company raised rates by 40%. So while that is an option, certainly you want to be cautious about that as a planning tool, but certainly it definitely could be a way that you could hedge against that. Something that's very popular today is that people are using life insurance, actually. They have life insurance with living benefits in which people can transfer assets that they probably would not have used. Let's say they know they're not going to use a certain amount of money, and they could put it into some type of a single pay life policy. And what they'll allow you to do is use the face amount of the policy towards their benefits. So if you have $1 million policy, you could take anywhere between 2 to 4% a month and use that for long-term care. And use it. All you have to do is show that you can't do 2 out of the 6 active daily living activities, and they send you that check. You can use it for home care or long-term care. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. But guess what? If you never wind up using it, the key thing is you never wind up using this, all that money goes to your heirs tax-free, and you don't feel like you wasted the premiums. Once again, many different ways to address it, but I will tell you that the key thing is that you want to at least explore some of the ways that you can eliminate that risk. And these are just 2 ideas. All right, let's talk about a real-life story about John and Linda. John and Linda were married, and they had a wonderful marriage together, and unfortunately, life somehow intervened between both of them. Linda learned that, unfortunately, she got breast cancer that she thought she had beaten. However, unfortunately, it returned and spread. And as the couple reached retirement, Linda found herself battling bone metastasis that doctors said were terminal. So one of the things that we looked at was that we wanted to find out how we could help them with the immediate task at hand. So they needed to really transition from Medicare, from the health insurance coverage they had through Linda's work, which was due to end in several months when she retired. That's when I learned about Linda's condition. And as we explored the couple's financial picture, it occurred that I might be able to offer some additional help. What happened was we researched the group life insurance policy that she had through work, and she found that she had coverage that included what they call an accelerated death benefit. These are benefits that, in the event of a terminal illness, they could access the actual death benefit of the life insurance policy while they're alive. Now, given the fact that Linda's diagnosis was terminal, this rider, this provision, allowed Linda to access 90% of her policy's death benefit while she and John still had time together. That gave the couple some incredible peace of mind knowing that their last days together would be free of financial worries. Linda was also so grateful that her husband would be well cared for financially, as the life insurance proceeds would be able to supplement his retirement income. And the bottom line here is, without this life insurance, John said, hey, they would have had to sell their home. He said there's no way they would have been able to do it by themselves financially. So if any of this is of interest or you'd like to find more information about it, please call us at 561-362-2293 or visit us at playchecksforlife.com. So I want to just get back to focusing on why it's so critical to hedge and eliminate this very serious risk in retirement, the risk of the long-term care. And as you can see from this story, and unfortunately many others, the reality is that the cost is so profound that it could literally wipe out all the best plans and the best intentions. What's interesting to note about this particular plan, about John and Linda, is that theirs was not a long-term care situation. Theirs was a terminal situation. However, it did have an immediate impact in terms of how they were going to live their life. So I caution everybody to really go back and do an analysis. If you'd like us to explore some of the ways that you could hedge against this, and we'll be happy to take a look at your comprehensive picture to make sure that to give you some terrific ideas of how you can hedge against this very serious risk in retirement. Once again, you can reach us at 561-362-2293, or you can visit us at playchecksforlife.com. Okay, so let's talk about the question of the week. Today, the question of the week is, can you put non-deductible funds from a qualified plan into a Roth IRA? Let's see. This question comes from Deborah. She's from Boynton Beach. And Deborah writes, can you take non-deductible funds from a qualified plan and put them into a Roth IRA? A friend told me that he's been doing this for years. Deb, here's what I would recommend. The IRS changed their position on this issue in 2009. Both pre-tax and after-tax qualified plans can be converted to a Roth IRA. However, generally, most distributions from a company plans should be prorated to include a percentage of pre-tax and after-tax funds. So, you generally cannot just convert the after-tax funds tax-free to a Roth IRA when you're doing a partial rollover. This issue is controversial, so you should consult with a knowledgeable tax advisor and make sure that whatever you do is done in the most tax-efficient manner possible. Folks, it's tricky out there. Make sure you speak to a specialist in retirement and IRAs. Our firm is your source for complete and accurate information because you deserve more. Thanks once again for your question. That is a really great question. Keep them coming to us. Okay, as we wrap up, remember, this is Playchecks for Life. If you have any questions, please call us at 561-362-2293 or visit us at Playchecks for Life. Remember, you didn't work your entire life just for a paycheck. We want the paycheck and we want the playcheck. So keep in mind, think about all these risks in retirement. All you have to do is have a solid plan. And when you put this solid plan together, you're going to have that peace of mind to get you to that retirement that you worked so hard to achieve. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure spending time with you again today. I wish you all a wonderful, healthy, and successful week. We look forward to talking to you again next week. Take care.
Exciting, isn't it? To start turning your paychecks into playchecks, call 561-362-2293. That's 561-362-2293. Or visit playchecksforlife.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll be back again next week. Thanks for listening.